Hello everyone, I am your host, the Sea Monster, and I welcome you all to my addition to the new One Monstrous Moment movement hosted by the Omni Viewer, known as Minus One Monstrous Moment. This movement is being done in anticipation for the upcoming entry in Toho's Reiwa era of Godzilla films, Godzilla Minus One, which has a great deal of hype and anticipation going on, hence this movement being born. So for this video, I cannot help but talk about a scene or sequence of events from a Godzilla film to coincide with the new film's release. And what better film to highlight in this video than the one that started it all? Which brings us to where I say that I have chosen the centerpiece of Godzilla 1954, where the title Kaiju attacks Tokyo and leaves a path of destruction in his wake. The choice was quite simple, really, as it was made based on how Minus One is going to deal with Japan being devastated by a version of Godzilla in a dark and drama-oriented story. So, even though this sequence may have been covered in previous installments in One Monstrous Moment, it just seemed to fit rather nicely with this particular occasion like a glove. Well, that and Godzilla 1954 is a great movie with plenty of scenes that are worth highlighting, with this being one of them. So, now that we've gone over the setup, time for the payoff. To set the stage, we see Japan preparing for Godzilla's imminent attack on Tokyo, setting up all the lines of defenses from tanks and cannons to towers connected by highly electrified barbed wire. Considering that he was provoked and even mutated by nuclear tests in the Pacific, Godzilla has been lashing out against Japan regardless of whether or not anyone had anything to do with provoking him. Japan would obviously go on to investigate and start trying to kill him due to his sheer power and presence being a potential threat to everyone. However, all these attempts to destroy him have merely provoked him into retaliating and causing more casualties. Later that night, Godzilla resurfaces, beginning his second approach into the island nation. When he inflicted his wrath earlier in the film, all those instances were basically warm-up rounds compared to what's to come for Tokyo. He's greeted by cannon fire, which does nothing to discourage him from advancing forward. Then he approaches the electrical wiring, which only makes him angrier as he simply powers through the electric shocks and destroys the towers. This demonstrates how seemingly unstoppable Godzilla truly is in this film, and it also showcases how inevitable the destruction which he's about to commit to truly is. By this point, various people can only watch helplessly as Godzilla enters Tokyo and begins to lay waste to it, killing as many civilians in the process and without mercy, as well as even killing scores of firefighters and other first responders who are simply trying to put out any fires they can and rescue any injured civilians they can. Throughout the sequence, we see him wielding his sheer size and physicality, as well as his atomic breath, to smash through and burn the city down to cinders. What makes it so effective is when we personally see the many casualties that occur in his wake, from scores of people in the streets being caught in Godzilla's nuclear blaze, to news reporters on a radio tower who find themselves in the monster's path, thus perishing as a result, to even a mother and her two children tearfully sitting in a corner and holding each other as they wait their demise, to where the mother even tries to comfort her children by saying that they will be seeing their father soon. While there have been Godzilla films that came after 1954 which have showcased the potential for human cost during a kaiju attack / kaiju battle, none have quite done what this film did, which was to linger on the human suffering that results from a kaiju incident, forcing the audience to take in the gravity of the devastation and of the abundant loss of human life, which would go a step even further when we see the aftermath of Godzilla's attack the following morning. These were all people who were caught in the middle of the destruction, people who didn't deserve what was coming to them, yet they all perished nonetheless. We never get to know who these people may have been, or even their names, yet we feel for them during the brief moments which we spend with them, and all this death will go on to weigh heavily on our primary characters as the story progresses. Then, once his work is finished, Godzilla returns to the sea, having fulfilled his terrible vengeance and not even paying mind to the Japanese Air Force shooting at him. And of course, from then on, the rest is history. Even without the parallels to real-life events such as the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in mind, the scene is still extremely effective in terms of engaging the audience as if they were witnessing a real disaster, where real people are actually dying or suffering. And all of that is why the Tokyo sequence in Godzilla 1954 stands truly as one monstrous moment. And it's safe to say that this moment is one of many in this film alone. So with all that said and done, we bring this One Monstrous Moment video to a close, as short as it may be, and as much as it may be on a subject that had been previously covered in the past. Again, all that said, I would like to thank you all very much for watching this particular video, and I would recommend giving a watch through of any and all other additions to Minus One Monstrous Moment on the playlist set up by the Omni Viewer. Once again, thank you for watching, and until my next video or series of videos, I will see you all later.